It feels good to be back here. It feels good to be back in this space. This is familiar to me in a way that I have forgotten about. I have discovered something that is very obvious. I have discovered something that is very obvious. We are completely in control of our own happiness. All you have to do is look inward. That's all you have to do. And if you say, well, I am looking inward and I'm still not happy, I need you to ask yourself, are you really looking inward? How inward are you looking? Because for me, my personal experience that I've had over the past 6 months since about Thanksgiving has been being reintroduced to my addiction to nicotine. And I convinced myself during this time period, and you can see it in my videos, you can see it in my demeanor, you can see it in the results of my videos. You could see it. You can watch this happen to me. Go back to my videos on this channel and look in the past, look around Thanksgiving, etc. And you'll see a shift. Because the one thing that I changed that ended up changing everything else for me in my life in a negative way was I became addicted to nicotine again. And I convinced myself while I was in the midst of this addiction, because I've broken free again. And, this is a natural thing for people who have addictions. It's difficult for us because I've been addicted to nicotine for a long time. So the, breaking free and falling back in and breaking free is a thing for me. And I know that a lot of you can probably relate to that. Anybody who closely understands what addiction does to a person can relate to that. But one of the things that I did to myself in the midst of my nicotine addiction was convince myself that I was able to simultaneously be addicted to nicotine and look inward. And those two things do not go hand in hand with each other. It is impossible. Because if you have an addiction on an external circumstance or external substance or external anything, you cannot find happiness within yourself because you are too focused on the external. It's impossible. And your ego, your false self, will convince you that you are looking inward. And then it will do absolutely nothing for you because you will still be looking outward, convinced beyond all reasonable doubt that you were looking inside of yourself, and you are not. Because when you have an external addiction, something that tugs at you from the outside, you cannot look inward. Your attention cannot be fully inside. Because you'll know when your attention is fully inside, because regardless of the external circumstance, you will be peace. Regardless of what's going on around you, you will be happy. Joyful. I should say joyful. I like to use the word joyful because joy and happiness are kind of like two different things. When we talk about happiness, what we usually talk about is an external a fulfillment of something outside of ourselves that makes us happy. But when I say joyful, what I mean is that you are joy. In your heart, you are feeling joy, regardless of what situation is happening outside of you, because you've figured out that you are in control of your happiness. It is actually you driving this boat. You can't control what's going on outside of your body, but you absolutely can make the decision to be in the present moment and to be joyful. I want you to let that sink in for a minute. You are 100% in control of your joy. And it is only the limiting belief that you are not, the limiting belief that joy and happiness is going to come to you from something outside of yourself, that you are tricking yourself into believing that you can't. You are tricking yourself into believing that you are not in control of your happiness, that you are not in control of your joy. But the truth is, the highest form of joy that you can achieve is the ability to look inward. And so, if you're saying to yourself, but I am looking inward and it's not working, the reason is that there is something that you do not see, which is forcing you to look outward. There is something in your life that is preventing the actual inward view. There's something in your life that is tugging your attention and your consciousness externally. And you need to figure out what that is, and you need to learn how to let it go. It's going to be different for everybody. It's going to be something different for everybody watching this video. But I know that if you're watching this video and you're still here with me, that you know exactly what I'm talking about. There's something externally of you that is pulling your attention away from your inner world. Whether it could be something simple like playing video games all the time, or this thing that you're stressed out about at your job or in your life, or a relationship, or some other form of addiction, like maybe it's nicotine for you too, or maybe it's alcohol, maybe it's caffeine. If there's something externally, something external of you that you are relying on for your happiness, and if you don't have that, you're unhappy. That is just that you think it's just that one thing, and it isn't. It's not. You think that you can ignore just that one thing, and that you can continue to look inward, and you can't. If you have even one thing that is externally biting for your attention, that is externally telling you that if you do not have me, I am gone, that your happiness is gone. It doesn't matter what it is. If you have one thing in your life that is external of you that says, without me, you are nothing, you will not be able to look at your inner world, and you will not be able to find your own happiness. That's the key. That's the key to happiness, is being able to look inside of yourself rather than outside. Because nothing out there, it doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter how much you achieve in life. It doesn't matter how much money you accumulate, how many friends you have, what you accomplish in your life. It doesn't matter. None of those things matter compared to what it feels like to have complete and utter inner peace. Complete and utter inner joy and peace and happiness. That, first of all, having that will lead to everything else that I just said. Being completely happy and joyful inside will lead to greater success in your external life, because you are not so focused on all of the negative things. Like, for example, if I hate my job, right? I'm not going to be as productive at my job if I hate my job, because if I'm going to work every day and I just wish that I was home, I'm thinking about everything other than my job. But if I go to my job and I'm very joyful to be there, and I'm living in the present moment, and I'm intaking everything, I'm taking in all this information, and I'm feeling everything, and I feel very happy and content with myself, I'm going to do a much better job, right? And I'm just using that as an analogy. It doesn't have to be your work. It could be your family life. It could be your the way that you upkeep your home, or creative endeavors that you're trying to go on in your life. All of these things will improve if you first stop relying on external circumstances to provide you happiness. It's so simple, and yet we forget. It's so simple, and yet we forget. The only way to find true happiness is within yourself. So I really hope that this video helped you. Like, I really do. Because that's my mission in this world right now. I don't know if it always will be, but right now my mission is to lift people up. I am being lifted up so that I may lift others up. That's how I feel about my life. And today I am free of nicotine addiction. That is a beautiful thing for me. Again, this is like, the third time now. And it seems frustrating, but this is the nature of the path, right? This is the nature of the path that I'm on. I've been addicted to nicotine since I was 9 years old. Since I was 9 years old. It's a really young age. And, so it played a very large role in the way that my brain developed. I quit for the first time when I was 20. I quit for 1.5 years. I broke again when I started working 2 jobs. And then my stress level kind of increased, and then I turned to nicotine as a way to ease that. And then I quit again for almost a year. After I stopped working that job, I quit again, and then I started again in Thanksgiving, which is relatively close to when this channel blew up and when I actually gained an audience. And I think that the stress of having the audience there, having this sort of obligation, even though now I don't feel obligated. But at first, the stress of having this pressure of having a real audience that I have to put my words out to and be careful about, but I don't even really need to be careful, having that stressed me out a lot. And so I turned back to nicotine as a way of easing that stress. And so that's something that I've learned about my life. And so maybe for you guys, you can make the decision to look, you should take assessment, take inventory of your life and what's going on in your life, and what external things are grabbing your attention and taking your attention outward, and also what situations cause those external things to arise. What situation in your life forces you to look at those things? Why did you start looking externally again? Because it's normal. It's normal. And I don't want you to feel like you're alone, because you're not. There's nothing wrong with you. Just like there's nothing wrong with me. We're just human beings. There's a cool bike outside. I like motorcycles. That was cool. Anyway, I'll leave this video here. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Much love to everybody. If you want to talk to me and other like-minded individuals in this community, join our Discord server, The Conscious Path. I'll leave a description in the link below, or a link in the description below. Much love to all of you guys, and I'll see you in the next video.